Hi, I'm here with Malcolm Harland, UK Country Manager at LiveU. Hi Malcolm.
Hi.
So we've talked a lot about remote production in recent months, but what impact is cloud having here, particularly when it comes to end-to-end cloud-based workflows?
Yeah, it's been an interesting period, and you know the pandemic's hit everybody in different ways, and that personal stuff is a really tough situation to deal with. But I think that there has been almost a perfect storm in our industry from the pandemic, because it's mandated that things have had to be done differently, and I think we've moved very quickly in the industry from traditional workflows. Remote production was a part of that. But the move towards cloud has been a really active development from vendors like ourselves as LiveU, plus the direction from the broadcasters and the rights holders and the media organisations. And what cloud's enabled the content owners and the producers to do is achieve what they were achieving from on-site production or remote production back into a studio, but with a distributed workforce. So reducing the number of people that are at a venue, which you know in a COVID time was really important as sport came back, as entertainment came back, and using your talent around production and director and editing remotely away from the studio, with an ability to do that with, I wouldn't say the same tools that they would have had either in an OB vehicle or in the studio, but with very similar tools, very similar workflows, and I think that's been enhanced as well. So if you look at, from a LiveU perspective, we now have a 4-camera unit, the LU800, which will deliver synchronously into the cloud, and then we've worked with a number of the big production vendors in the cloud, so people like Grabio, Grass Valley Amp, Blackbird, vMix and so on, to enable that seamless workflow. And I'm sure if you're a producer, it's not like being in the studio or at the venue, but it's enabled a really creative approach from people in different places. And we actually managed one of the first LU800 remote production events, which was the Cartier Queen's Cup, the polo event in the middle of last year, where the event took place in the UK as normal. All of the production was done remotely in South Africa. And it worked seamlessly, and they had all of that benefit of not having to land lots of equipment in the UK, and not having to have big OB, and they produced the event as if it were on site. Really, really exciting process.
Okay. And what would you say are the benefits and challenges of multi-camera remote production?
I think there are many benefits. And I think once you start to see those benefits, you also start to see some of the challenges that emerge when you look and you're trying to be innovative on workflows. I think the benefits are a little bit like cloud production and any remote production. You can reduce your capability at the venue. Fewer people, less equipment. The benefits start to come in all of the obvious ones, like cost and travel. But you equally get the benefits of a better carbon footprint, for example, better welfare for the teams of people that would normally have to travel, especially internationally. They're away from home, they're out of time zone, all of those things. And when they come together, the benefits of that from a cycle of producing live events around the world are really positive. And I think the challenges that come from that, you need to try to be able to produce the event as if everything was still at the venue. So it's okay getting the content out, and we can do that content out fully synchronized across 4, 6 or 8 cameras, but you still need to be able to do video return, program return from a studio, or program return so that, that there's a view of what's actually being produced for the team on the ground. You want to be able to have that audio connectivity as if everybody was in the venue, and we also have that option to manage PTZ cameras at a venue. So you've got fewer cameramen. You might have 4 cameras, but 2 could be controlled by PTZ, but you have latency challenges there. There's no point in moving the camera and a few seconds later the camera actually moves, because that's just going to take away all of those benefits. So the challenges are all addressable, and it's working in a way that tries to build the ecosystem, not just for us, but the production tools that are there that I've talked about. They have to work seamlessly together, and they have to work in both directions as well.
And what about 5G? What role do you think this will play, and what potential does it have?
I think 5G is going to be key. We went through the evolution of the early days of 3G, all the way through 4G being established and 4G becoming prevalent as it is today. We're in the very early stages of 5G. I think the network operators in many parts of the world are deploying now. It's not quite true 5G. 5G down is great, 5G up is often more limited, but I think the benefits of 5G are going to come from latency that we've just mentioned. 5G will be an inherently lower latency for feeds out, as well as some of that return content coming back, audio and camera control and video return. It will just tighten up the workflows and tighten up the ability to produce more effectively. Bandwidth will be important. As 5G develops, the ability to move from, let's say, good quality multi-camera to excellent quality multi-camera, moving from live lower tier, second tier sport into first tier sport, and also then moving up into 4K. We can do 4K now, but with 5G, as the ability to do a higher bandwidth develops and more of the audio capability, then you start to see 5G being an enabler for more things being done, and the direction of the 5G network operators looking at network slicing, being able to offer dedicated bandwidth at a venue like Chelsea Football Club, for example. What we would take from that is, if several operators are offering dedicated bandwidth, we can actually use those to give more resilience as well as bandwidth, and those we see as those takeouts over the next 2, 3, 4 years from 5G. The good thing is we're ready now. As our LU800's got 5G built in, we can carry 4 different carriers at the same time. Even our smaller units now have high gain antenna 5G modems, which you can do 2 5G modems in a small form factor unit. So you've got that opportunity to grab that 5G capability, and then, a little bit like we've talked about with remote production, look at the things that it's going to be able to offer. And we have that benefit that the network developments are working in a developmental way and rollout way that not under our control, but it's almost like a synergistic approach from our technology develops and the networks have developed at the same time. And I think we're going to see a really big growth of remote production, cloud production, multi-camera capability, utilizing 5G more and more, and sport's the ideal area for that. We're already enabling more sport to be covered live in tiers which normally wouldn't have been covered live because of either the value of the rights or the cost of actually producing an event live. We're seeing that trend already, and some of the projects we're working on, both locally and regionally and then internationally, suggest that explosion of live sport across lots of different genres going to all sorts of different platforms will be driven by all of those different things. Production technology, the transmission technology of LiveU, and then the network technology. So it's actually a really nice coming together of different spaces where integration and workflow becomes the key to getting it right.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Thanks. Nice to talk to you. Thank you.